If this is the first time you're watching any video on FinOps, then this video could be FinOps 101 for you. Because we'll understand FinOps first from a real life example of the Chinappa family, a very interesting real life example. Then we'll understand the true definition of FinOps, what FinOps exactly is, what are its features. Then we'll go a level deeper and understand what is the official framework on which FinOps work. And then eventually we'll talk about some certifications and career options we have in FinOps. So if this is your first time, I'm sure by the end of this video you will have enough, very good understanding of what FinOps is and whether it is something which you could pursue in your life. Let's get started. So this is Chinappa family. Chinappa family wants to go on a vacation and they want this to be a very, very good vacation somewhere in the world. But Gopi is very flabbergasted. He's very excited and he wants the girls, Meera and Maya, to plan this whole vacation. Devi, the wife, the homemaker, is again very happy and excited, but she wants Gopi to do it. But Gopi is very excited. Gopi says, no, let the kids decide where we want to go. And then kids plan the whole vacation. They book best of the hotels, best of the tourist places, the best of the food, everything luxurious they planned for the vacation, and eventually they went on this world tour. But eventually there came a point where Gopi realized that this vacation is going a bit out of his pocket, because this is a middle class family. They planned this vacation hoping that Meera and Maya would understand what is the budget, but they didn't. They were very excited. So eventually there came a point where the credit card expired, the limit was reached, and they were midway in their world tour. And it was a very critical situation, but Devi somehow had that understanding that this might happen, and that's why she was carrying some cash and she rescued Gopi in that particular situation. Later on, when they came back, they sat together. Devi and Gopi sat together. They didn't involve Meera and Maya that much in their first conversation, but they discussed exactly what went wrong. And they realized that Gopi actually relied a lot on Meera and Maya, and he trusted that whatever they'll do would be the best for the family. And they did it, but they did not realize that whatever they are planning is very exuberant and it was overspending. And that was a lesson learned for Gopi, that in the next vacation, instead of giving this task to young Meera and Maya, he will actually rely on Devi to do the planning. And next year, when they again planned for the same kind of a vacation, Devi was the single point of contact for all the different funding, planning, budgeting, forecasting, whatever was required was done by Devi. So instead of, for example, choosing an exotic hotel, Devi said, okay, we four could go into Airbnb. There's no harm in staying in Airbnb for 2 days in a particular location. Instead of having a dinner in an exotic restaurant, we can have something in our hotel room. Okay, all those kind of fine changes, Devi made in the next vacation. And when they came back after that, Gopi realized that Devi, just by these small changes, saved almost 40% of the actual spent which happened when Meera and Maya planned the vacation. And this is what is the problem which is solved by FinOps. So how we can understand FinOps with this real life example? Understand that Gopi could be your business owner or your stakeholder who wants to go into cloud and use latest of technology. Meera could be your application developer. Maya could be your solution architect. They want best of everything on cloud, right? But is it meeting the need, and is it something which is actually having a correct return on investment? That is where Devi comes into picture, which is your FinOps team. Okay, so FinOps team make sure that whatever spend we are having, which is what is FinOps? FinOps is finance plus DevOps. So FinOps team ensures that whatever we are doing on cloud, whatever spend we are making, is it legit? Is it within budget? Is it actually bringing value to the organization? That's what FinOps is. Okay, so now understanding this real life example, let's understand FinOps with the official definition and what are its core features. So why we needed FinOps at the first place? As you rightly guessed, it is because of the advent of cloud computing. Because cloud provided so many benefits, but it also created a double-edged sword with its benefits. For example, it is a variable cost in nature. So previously in traditional data centers, there used to be a fixed cost setup where you would know how much you're going to spend on IT in a particular fiscal year. But with cloud, it's all variable. The cost could go down, could go up. So instead of having that capex structure, which is capital expenditure, now we have moved on cloud, which is called as OPEX, which is operational expenditure, which basically means that whatever operations you are performing on cloud, your expenses would highly depend on that. So that was the first problem. Second is decentralized. Again, a good thing, but then what it did, it created different silos. And these silos were the problem because different engineering teams started creating their old cloud projects, their own cloud infrastructure for POCs, for different deployments, without getting connected to finance and procurement team. So sometimes even in one of my projects, one of the developer just ran a certain service and it continuously ran for over the weekend, and it gave a £5,000 bill to the customer. All those kind of POCs used to happen and all that. So to curtail that, we need a setup. So this decentralized way of working was not helping us getting the true value from cloud. And the last one is scalable. Again, scaling means you could scale and you could innovate very easily on cloud, but then it could also result in overspending, because if you don't know why you are scaling for, then it is a problem. Okay, so to solve all these kind of problems, we have FinOps. Now what is FinOps? FinOps is nothing. It is finance plus operations. Okay, so you could say that it is finance plus DevOps. It is an operational framework and a cultural mindset. Cultural mindset is very important, which enables which maximizes the value on cloud, which means that for every dollar spent, what ROI you are getting. For every dollar you are spending, what exact benefit you are getting from cloud. That is what is maximizing the value on cloud. You need to know where you are spending your money and whether it is spent wisely or not. So that is first thing which FinOps provides. The second thing this framework provides is enables timely data-driven decisions. So every data which could help us save cost will be tracked on cloud. So for example, let's say you could put a rule in your monitoring application on cloud that if the consumption increases by this much amount, then this particular service should be, this alert should be triggered. I'm just giving a vague example, but enables timely data driven decision means that you can track data at every level, and you can make sure that based on that data input you are getting, you are taking those decisions. It could be of stopping a particular VM after a certain time, or it could be, it could be scaling down a load balancer, for example. There could be numerous use cases for that. The third one is it creates financial accountability, because understand this guys, FinOps is a culture, okay? And financial accountability has to be taken up by every member of the team. It is not that there would be a one central team who would do everything. Yes, the one central team would define the framework, would define the best practices, would educate and teach every team, but then it would eventually be the responsibility of every developer, every architect, every product owner or product manager to ensure that we have that financial accountability in our mind. Whenever we are doing anything on cloud, we have to ask, is it needed? What value it brings to the business? Can it be done in a better way, and it be cheaper than what we are doing right now? All those kind of questions has to come from different individuals. And how it will happen, how all these three things will happen: maximize value, enable timely decisions, create financial accountability. FinOps can do all this only when there is a collaboration between these three teams: business, engineering and finance. Okay, so these three teams, FinOps brings these three teams together. FinOps idea is all these three teams always should work together, and then only this whole benefit could come into a particular enterprise or company. It could be a startup as well. So yes, this is what is FinOps. FinOps is an operational framework and a cultural mindset which enables maximizing value on cloud, timely decisions through data, financial accountability, with collaboration between business, engineering and finance teams. So now with this definition in mind, now let's understand and go deeper into the overall framework which has been defined by FinOps Foundation. What is the official framework for FinOps? Friends, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is the framework which FinOps Foundation has come up with. Actually, when I started drawing it, I found it very difficult to do everything on this. So maybe I'll share the picture of it, maybe in the link or in this video somewhere, of the actual framework. But I've tried covering everything which is there in the framework. Obviously, we'll not go to each and every detail, but we have to understand the key areas. So the key areas are principles, domain and capabilities, personas, core personas, allied personas, phases and maturity. So let's quickly understand what this framework actually talks about. Starting with the principles. So basically there are 6 main principles. Number 1, team need to collaborate. Every team, business, engineering, finance, every team has to collaborate for a good FinOps practice. Decisions should be driven by the business value, the dollars on cloud, like what value we are getting. Everyone should own the cloud usage. FinOps data should be accessible and timely, because if you do not have the FinOps data, how you would make good decisions? And there has to be a centralized FinOps team which will enable this as a practice. And then you have to take the advantage of variable costing on cloud, like how we can use that variability to our advantage. So these are the core principles of FinOps. And when it comes to domain and capabilities, basically these are the business outcomes we expect from a FinOps practice. So understanding cloud usage and cost. Under that, you will have things like data ingestion, allocation, reporting and analytics, and anomaly management. Planning and estimating. It is around quantifying the business value. So planning and estimating our usage on cloud, forecasting and budgeting of whatever whatever cost we are forecasting on the cloud. What is our budget? Benchmarking. What we were spending before, what was our benchmark, and how we are decreasing the cost or increasing the value. Unit economics means trying to go into each and every unit of resources we are using on cloud. That is unit economics. Every $1 has to be accounted for what value it is bringing. Optimizing cloud and usage cost. Okay, so their solution architects come into the picture. How the solution architects are aligned with our FinOps framework. Workload optimization, licensing, what kind of licenses we are bringing on cloud, that also has cost. Rate optimization and sustainability. Managing FinOps practice is again a different area within this whole framework, where the actual FinOps centralized team would take over. They will implement FinOps practice operations, cloud policy and governance. FinOps assessment will happen. There are different tools and vendors which provides FinOps. There are cloud providers like AWS, Azure also, which provide it, but then there are separate third-party FinOps vendors which provide their tooling and services. Education and enablement is very important, so that everyone understand why we need FinOps, what kind of invoicing and chargeback are happening on cloud. Onboarding workloads, what kind of workloads we are onboarding on cloud. Intersecting disciplines, how we are intersecting with different disciplines, different business functions within cloud. That all is managed under the FinOps practice. Personas are nothing but your key stakeholders which would be a part of this journey. Your engineering team, your FinOps practitioner, your finance team, leadership obviously, procurement, and your product management. And then there are some allied personas. Allied personas are not directly related or owning the whole thing, but they will be acting as a counterpart with the core persona. So your IT asset management, finance management, ITSM is IT service management, your security team, your sustainability team. Now coming to the phases, there are 3 phases in which any FinOps framework or FinOps practice would develop over time. The number 1 is inform, then optimize, then operate, which basically means that at the very first level you have to inform about what FinOps brings on the table. So basically you could start with simple reporting of what charges we are incurring right now on cloud. Then optimization phase will come, where how we can now optimize for lower cost. And then operate means once you have a mature model, you can then operate on it. And then maturity again is aligned with your phases, like first you start crawling, then you start walking, and then you start running. Okay, so these are the maturity levels of a typical FinOps practice. In my experience right now, most of the companies are at maybe a crawling stage or a walking stage. Very few companies or enterprises are at a running maturity level for FinOps. Friends, coming to the most interesting section of this whole video, which is how we can enter a FinOps career. What is a possible roadmap? So I've done some research, although I have never worked in FinOps directly, but I've done some research to guide you a bit. So who can enter? Basically, anybody can enter FinOps. Anybody who's working on cloud, who's a cloud professional or IT professional, who has the inclination towards FinOps, can enter the field with some practice and certifications. Finance guys have a great option of entering FinOps if they have come from a finance background, MBA in finance or whatever degree you have, and if you're already working in finance related to IT in internal IT team, then you can enter FinOps. Data analysts have a very good opportunity because a lot of reporting and cost analysis happens in these roles. So data analyst will automatically be a good choice to move into a FinOps role. They can leverage their data skills there. FinOps certifications now, the FinOps Foundation provides FinOps Certified Practitioner, FOCP, FinOps Certified Professional and FinOps Certified Engineer. There are other certifications as well, but these three are the primary ones which are discussed in the market today. From opportunities perspective, there are three different levels. I have highlighted some roles which come under these. So at entry level, you could join as a cloud cost analyst or a junior FinOps practitioner. At mid level, you will be a professional like a FinOps professional, FinOps engineer or a FinOps architect, and senior role might look like head of FinOps or head of overall cloud finance. So that would be a very senior role. Now salaries are always controversial. I first thought of trying to find salaries in US, but then my Indian friends feels that that's too much for Indian market. So this time I've tried finding out some average salary options or approximations in India. So at entry level, we can expect somewhere between 6 lakhs to 10 lakhs per annum. At mid level, we can expect something between 12 lakhs to 30 lakhs. And at senior level, 40 lakhs plus. But salaries are always very controversial. It depends on your experience, where you are, your region, and your luck. So take it with a pinch of salt. From the tools perspective, there are certain players in the market like Cloud Health, Aptio and Spot.io, which provides customized FinOps solutions to the customers. And then if you talk about the cloud vendors, they themselves offer various tools like AWS provides Cost Explorer, Azure has, I think, Azure Cost Management, GCP has GCP Billing. And from technology perspective, Terraform is very important, infrastructure as a code, because a lot of deployment, whatever you'll do, will go through IAC, infrastructure as code. So tools like Terraform, Ansible will help you a lot if you are getting into this field. This field is very promising for people who want to enter cloud in a different manner, who does not want to get into the technical aspect of cloud, but still want to learn technical in order to understand how they can provide input, how they can be a part of the overall cloud journey and making huge contributions by saving dollars and pounds and rupees for the business. And you can understand that wherever this is involved, the eyes are there, the attention is there, the growth is there. So that's why if you are someone who feels you could be a part of this, definitely try this out. I think this is a very promising field, still a very new field. Not many organizations have set up a dedicated FinOps practice, but as we go more and more on cloud, as the bills will rise, there would be a lot of focus on this particular area. Friends, I wanted to highlight one important thing. If you are new to cloud, you first need to understand the basic of cloud computing and pick one particular cloud and build a fundamental, because fundamentals will remain across AWS, Azure and GCP. And for that, we have AWS for complete beginner course. It will cover all the core services which is offered on AWS. You can check it out. You can check all the modules. It has 12 plus hours of in-depth content with hands-on exercises. So see the link in the description and in the pinned comment. So with that, it brings us to the end of this video. Let us know how you felt about this video. Let me know in the comment what you want to learn next on cloud or any other technology in IT. And if you want anything in specific in FinOps, do let me know that as well. So until we meet next time, keep learning, keep sharing all your knowledge, and yes, keep hustling. Bye for now.